What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course looking at straight mid-ranges. I've been bagging a hex for quite a while now, so it's time to see if this might possibly need to step out the bag. Now obviously it's been a different hex. This is just the one that shows up best on camera, but it's the same plastic, the Prism Proton. This is my favorite of all of the hexes. This one is amazing. We're gonna see if possibly the Mako 3 has anything to say, because the hex is 5.5 -1-1. The Mako 3 is 5.5-0-0, and this is in the new Proto Glow. It's pretty flat based off of profiles. It would appear as if the Mako 3 should be more stable, but let's see how they fly in practice. Start on the short pad for hole 10. We're gonna go hex first. Okay, not very much flip up today. Now the Mako 3. I mean, this is one of those instances where more height doesn't necessarily equal a better shot. The last time I threw out here, I was using flippy discs, and so that shot actually would have turned and drifted into that gap or that opening. I sometimes forget that these are actually very, very neutral, so you do have to manipulate the angle to be exactly the shape you want. That being said, hex was fairway, Mako 3 was not fairway, so hex 1 point. Now on the very middle pad for hole number 12, this one, a little bit of breeze, but it's coming from that direction. So if I throw these on hyzer, they're going to stay on hyzer because these aren't flippy enough to flip up with a crosswind that's pushing the hyzer. So I'm gonna try to do my very best to throw them as flat as possible so we can get kind of a natural little flex shot. See if we can ride it out over the bushes. Perfect. Though it could be a little bit straighter. That's the one thing I'm like, I love the Prism Proton. It's amazing for the ease of getting that shot shape. It just takes so long to beat that little bit of finish out of because it is Proton. See if the Mako 3 gives us a similar flight. We got a little bit of assisted anhyzer based off of the branch. It's tiny bit of a grip lock because the rim does feel a little bit different, and I haven't thrown a Mako 3 in so long. So, I mean, great shot. Branch affected placement. Unfortunately, I think unless I get up here and the hex is shorter than the Mako 3 by a decent margin, hex is gonna have 2 points. So I was right, hex with 2 points over the Mako 3. Mako 3, it's good. I don't know if it fits this slot, which is a flip up, fly straight, little bit of a finish. I don't know if you're gonna get that out of the Mako 3 because this is kind of in the same slot as my super beat up Rock 3, where I would get a flip up and drift and then a fade back. The Mako 3 doesn't quite do that. Let's go hex again here. Because with the hex, you're always gonna get that fade, at least with the Proton hex. I haven't beat the fade out of it. So Honestly, the hex fly is very similar to my beat up method. See if we can get a similar shot of the Mako 3. Similar shot. Let's go check distance wise. So because the Mako 3 is not designed to have much of a finish to it, it's designed to kind of be straight. If you overpower the flip up portion, you can get it to flip up and drift a little bit. But if you throw it nose up, you can get it to flip up and drift and then flex back, which is where we got right there. I overpowered the 5-speed. I threw it much harder than a 5-speed is typically supposed to be thrown, but nose up, so that I could get a similar flight to the hex. But I don't know if I feel as confident with that shot as I do with the hex, because the hex is designed to do that shot. The Mako 3 is modifying the throw to do that shot. Now, the shot that I really started loving the hex for is a little touch forehand shot. So we're gonna try that here. I don't know the torque resistance on the Mako 3 as far as forehand goes, but that's why we're testing. Hex is first. It's gotten 3 in a row though. Okay, so I think controllable. Didn't really know how it was gonna handle, so I gave it a touch more height. Ended up helping it out in the end. But I think as far as if you're gonna forehand it, now, because these are typically go-to backhand mid-ranges, we're not gonna count these as far as scores. Because most people don't forehand a Mako 3 or a hex. I think that's becoming more popular, but for the most part they're backhand. So we're gonna disregard this as far as points goes, but it is helpful to be able to know what the shot's gonna look like if you were to try to throw it that way. On every single backhand throw so far, the hex has gone further than the Mako 3. So what does that tell me? I've been enjoying the distance I've been getting with the hex. So if the Mako 3 just isn't quite getting the same distance, I think I'm still gonna be leaning towards the hex. Now, where it's up for grabs, so this lot can change, but right now I think it's the hex. It's gonna stay the hex. The Mako 3 just doesn't quite seem to have the same distance. We're gonna throw 2 more drives just so we get an even 5 with the backhands. But right now the hex is outperforming 3-0. Little flat to flex shot. That's really pretty. That was a really pretty shot. I did not see where the hex finished, so I'll see when we get up here. But that may be the first point that Mako 3 gets. So it might be more interesting at the end than initially anticipated. So Mako 3 taking his first point. Here's what's gonna happen with this slot. The hex is going to stay in for the time being until I find a replacement to fill this hex slot that can beat out the hex. The Mako 3 is going to be sitting in the disc in my car as far as backups and what is ready on deck, because this has a possibility of battling the Buzz SS. It has more flip and drift than the hex does, and I think it's it's probably this little sloped spot, whereas the Mako 3 is a little bit more convex instead of concave. It's probably what's doing it, but Mako 3 took its first point. Mako 3 has the box. Let's see how close to the basket here on OG16 we can get. Okay, not that much flip. That was too much hyzer. And I feel more confident hitting this. And now that I notice the rim shape difference, it's probably that concave outer section just fits more comfortably in my grip than the convex does. So that's probably what's doing it, why I feel more confident with this as far as gassing up and trying to hit that precise line. Can we hit that precise line now though? Or am I just a whole bunch of talk? Over the back. Over the back. I love the hex. That hex is amazing. I love the Prism Proton. I really, this grass, as it dries out, it gets more and more slippery. I'm really hoping I can find where they start to make more Proton hexes. Just stock, normal plastic Proton hexes with a gyro rim and everything. I want to try those out as well, because I think those might do something slightly different than these. All that being said, stick around if you're looking for more Mako 3, because it's definitely going to show up more. It's just not quite stable enough to be this slot. The hex is amazing. I love it. A lot of other people would also say the same thing. They also love the hex. Hopefully you guys enjoy content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment all of that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber-only giveaways. Definitely helps me out as well. And until next time, see you out on the course.